to understand, because it's incumbent upon us to have ma'rifah of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. Obviously, we cannot have true ma'rifah. We cannot have true ma'rifah of ourselves either, right? Because to have an all-encompassing understanding of someone or something, that is very, very difficult, especially Aimma alayhim salam, who are higher than us. But there is a level of ma'rifah of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salatu wasalam that's wajib, that's obligatory, that we have to know towards Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. And these positions are shared. They are common amongst all Aimma alayhim salam. Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam, Imam Hassan alayhi salam, Imam Hussein alayhi salam, Imam Hassan al-Askari alayhi salam, Imam al-Mahdi alayhi salam, all of them. So these are some of the attributes that you have to understand, you have to believe in. This is the book of Al-Kafi lil-Kulayni rahmatullahi alayhi, Al-Usul min al-Kafi, volume number 1. This is Babu Fard Ta'at al-Aimma alayhim salam. It's incumbent upon us to follow Aimma alayhim salam and obey them. Al-Imam alayhi salatu wasalam said, Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam said, Ashhadu anna aliyan imamun radallahu ta'atah. I bear witness, I testify to this fact that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made Ali alayhi salam an imam, and he has made his obedience obligatory upon us. وَأَنَّ الْحَسَنَ إِمَامٌ فَرَضَ اللَّهُ طَاعَتَهُ. And that Al-Imam al-Hasan alayhi salam is an imam whose obligation, whose obedience is incumbent upon all people. وَأَنَّ الْحُسَيْنَ عَلَيْهِ السَّلَامِ إِمَامٌ فَرَضَ اللَّهُ طَاعَتَهُ. And that Imam Hussein alayhi salam is an imam whose obedience is wajib upon us. And likewise, Ali ibn al-Hussein alayhi salam, Muhammad ibn Ali alayhi salam, Al-Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, and the rest of the Imams alayhi salam, it's obligatory to follow them and to obey them. The other hadith chapter here, أن الأئمة عليهم السلام شهداء الله عز وجل على خلقه. The holy Imams alayhim salam, they are the witnesses of the Lord. They are the witnesses of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala over the creation. There are many hadith from Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. نحن عين الله. Yeah, Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam says, أنا عين الله. I am the eye of the Lord. The eye of the Lord. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not have a physical eye. He is not physical at all. Ahlul Bayt alayhim salatu wassalam, because they are witnesses of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, perhaps that's the reason they've been called eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. في كل قرن منهم إمام منا شاهد عليهم ومحمد صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم شاهد علينا. In every age there is an imam who watches over the people and he sees the people. And there are many, many ahadith from Ahlul Bayt alayhim salatu wassalam that Aimma alayhim salatu wassalam get reports of your actions regularly. Every morning, every evening, and every Thursday night. They get what did you do. That's one way that they are witnesses of Allah. And the other way is that they observe. The Aimma alayhim salam observe what you do, what you say, where you are. And that there are many hadiths to that effect. So if you are in the United States or you're in Great Britain or in Europe or anywhere you are, just as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala watches you and sees you, Allah's caliph, Allah's emissary, he watches you and he sees you because he's the eye of the Lord. Consider this hadith, please. An Amir al-Mu'mineen salawatullahi alayhi. From Imam Ali alayhi salatu wasalam, this has been narrated. This is also in the book of Kitab of Sulaim. Inna Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala tahharana. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made us pure. He has cleansed us. So there is no impurity. There's nothing wrong, bad, wrong, detestable, despicable, anything abominable in us. We are purified through Allah's purification. Inna Allah tahharana wa asamana. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has protected us against faults, against sins, against errors, against mistakes, bad habits, anything abominable. He has made us ma'asum, infallible. وَجَعَلَنَا شُهَدَاءَ عَلَى خَلْقِهِ. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made us witnesses over His creation. وَحُجَّتَهُ فِي أَرْضِهِ. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made us guides on earth. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has appointed us as guides, hujjah, guides, leaders on earth. وَجَعَلَنَا مَعَ الْقُرْآنِ وَجَعَلَ الْقُرْآنَ مَعَنَا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has placed His word with us. The word of Allah, the wisdom of Allah, the instructions of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. His holy Quran is with us. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has coupled us with the noble Quran. لا نفارقه ولا يفارقنا. We never separate from the noble Quran, and the noble Quran never separates from us. Imam Jafar al-Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam says, نحن ولاة أمر الله وخزنة علم الله وعيبة وحي الله. We are from Allah. We are the rulers. We are the people whom people have to follow and obey, and have to obey our commands. وَخَزَنَةُ عِلْمِ اللَّهِ. And we are the treasures of knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَعَيْبَةُ وَحْيِ اللَّهِ. And we are the treasure trove and the chest of Allah's revelation. Okay. May Allah bless you. Allah keep you well. Now I come to the second topic that I want to discuss with you. I told you that my discussion would be long and my lecture will be lengthy today. So please forgive me in that regard. When the month of Muharam comes, and I told you in the beginning that this speech is not regarding the polemics with non-Shia congregation and non-Muslims. This is with the intra-Shia discussion. When the month of Muharram comes, often we have majalis and we have programs in our centers, and we have many a time we have processions and julus, whereby people walk on the streets where they express their sorrow and their mourning for Imam Hussein alayhi salam. And it's a very noble thing to do. And I cannot describe the amount of, and no one can describe the amount of thawab and reward that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has promised for this matter. Many a time we hear from many people that when there's a conflict between praying and in the beginning of the time of any prayer, as you know, any prayer that you pray has two times. There's the beginning of that time, and there's the end when the time ends. That by that time you must have prayed. So it has two times. So if there's a conflict between أول الوقت, between the beginning of the time that salat is permissible, and aza, and a majlis, a procession of mourning and matam, which is preferable to conduct? Salah in the beginning of the time or aza?